I remember even reading letters from Prabhupada saying that he recommended the temple president be someone from the area. He was very expert, saying that person will know the area and know how to preach the best. And many of the young devotees here, they're professionals, they're nurses, they're therapists, they're doctors, they're very qualified people, but it seems difficult for them to be given responsibility around the temple. And there are questions of, well, then what is our role necessarily? And many of the people in this room feel a desire to be more than just community members, but aren't sure how they'll be able to contribute more, because it seems very difficult for leadership to be transferred to, we call them youth, but my passion right now is we're not youth. We're married with kids and jobs, we pay taxes, we're not youth anymore. We're only considered youth when we walk to the temple. That's the only place. Everywhere else, you know, you go on a plane, you're not a youth, you pay full price for the ticket. But only at the temple, it's the youth, you're the future of the movement, and I'm kind of sick of hearing that now. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
I agree. I agree with certainly agree with the fact that you're not youth, but that the leadership means that somehow or another to be able to engage others, and that we're very clear on. You know, Srila Prabhupada was not Indian. He said, I think like an American. And Srila Prabhupada was very particular that we don't get distracted by any type of either sectarian or racial or even cultural identification, aside from that which is defined by real Krishna consciousness, and it's defined by Krishna consciousness, not defined by any other type of norm. How that happens, I guess that requires good leadership. At least one aspect that I've seen, I know that in the past I used to be sort of reluctant. Devotees say I have some, you know, I have advice, but I don't advice. I want people who are going to take responsibility and who are going to be here involved in, say, the temple. And if they do take a responsibility, they stick with it. And if they make decisions, otherwise, advice is really easy. But for actually people to make that commitment and to further the type of, for me, temple is a center of certain missionary activities, not a place where we come for a Sunday program, just like so many churches in America. It just reminds me how religious these people used to be, or maybe they still are. So it actually functions as a place for what? Brahmachari Gurukule Vasadanto Guru Hitan, that youth, and then that youth, you know, Prabhupada would say from age 6 to 25, but at least that young people live in a temple, get training, get rise early in the morning, do Sankirtan, Guru Hitan, that they live for the benefit of the Guru, which in this case would be for Srila Prabhupada, for the institution, and to really have that type of training, which then becomes a template later on, where we see 95% of them are going to then be working and living in the world around. But they know what Krishna consciousness is about in a very holistic way, and especially in terms of our missionary activities. So as long as people are willing to take that responsibility, you know, one good example that I see, for instance, is in Bhaktivedanta Manor in the UK, where the major decision making is actually made by a patrons council who take responsibility for projects, like for instance Janmashtami, 70,000 people, and organizing the hundreds and hundreds of volunteers who participate in like that. Those devotees have been there since I first came to the UK in 1980. They never wavered. They've gone through a lot. They've seen Jai Tirtha go, Bhagavan go. They're still there, and really willing to give their blood for what they see for Prabhupada's society. So if that kind of commitment's there, then leadership needs to be able to, because we need. It's the whole other problem, is that on one side there's never enough devotees or there's never enough manpower to get things done, and then on the other side there's a whole crowd of devotees who are wanting to be engaged. So that's like a real misfit somehow or another. We should be able to bring all that together. I think there's a lot of we've been around 60 years. So ISKCON really needs to sort of find its feet, and okay, Prabhupada, warned us off. There's so many letters about his godbrothers. Okay, but now he made this one statement, the war's over. So now, how do we adjust to that one? No one. I moved into the temple. No one lives outside the temple. Only Krishna conscious people are inside, and everyone outside is in Maya. It's obvious, isn't it? So that was what we were raised. Now, obviously, then later on, even at that time, the idea, okay, Udama Shloka Prabhu, I don't know, some of you may know him. He was our temple president, and moving out into an apartment like that was a real discussion point. Is this right? Are we truly living outside the temple? And our temple was a bowling alley, and it just had partitions, and it didn't reach the ceiling. So he had a baby at that time, Gopinath. So we had the brahmacharis here, and the brahmacharinis there, and the temple president here, and the temple room, and everybody could hear everybody and everything. And so that was life. Things have really changed. 99% of the devotees are outside, and Prabhupada did make a comment. Jaipataka Maharaj quotes it quite often, where Prabhupada says that in the future, most devotees will be outside of the temple as they are now. One thing is, for my perspective, my concern is, how do we maintain our missionary zeal?